What's up, everyone? It's Crowday23 here, and today I'm going to be condensing something that I've done a lot on my channel and something that I've been very passionate about. And this is going to be like a pseudo coaching slash mentoring type thing for players that really just want to get into the competitive scene for Magic the Gathering and just in general improving as a player. I think this series that I am essentially recreating and condensing into an actual playlist and reiterating some of the things that I've touched on before in previous videos for the purposes of just teaching players how to get better. This isn't necessarily have to be for competitive players, but it is something that kind of has a little bit of something for everything. I think when people play games, like they play to have fun for one. That's very obvious, and two, like they just don't want to be necessarily bad at it. Like they want to be like good enough to where like they win at least some of the time, right? Like in the end, like winning is fun, and the only times where losing is a lot of fun is if you just enjoy like the people that you play with and things like that. But to some people, competition is a lot of fun. It's something that kind of drives people to get better, and sort of kind of this is a series that's meant for players that want to be competitive and get better as competitive players as they kind of grow as players themselves, or just kind of giving players like a baseline, like figuring out like their goals and improving just as a player in general. So as you can see here, there is 4 important things that I want to hit on in with the series of videos that are be coming out through the coming months. And essentially, these are the ones that I deem important at the time of recording this video. There are certainly going to be other things that I touch on as well as I'm doing this series, but these are kind of like the points and the major talking points throughout the series. So, first one, effective ways to improve as a player. That includes technical play and mental toughness. Very important. Basically, if you don't have a lot of time to devote to practice, like if you can devote like a 40-hour week to developing and improving as a player, you're going to get a lot more out of it just in a vacuum than someone who has like maybe 2 or 5 hours per week to devote to it. So with this, we're going to touch on some very effective ways to essentially get the most out of that time, and getting very effective and easy ways to just mentally prepare and improve technical play, reasoning, things like that, as you go along and as you develop as a player. The second one, good habits to remember and use when preparing for events. Yes, it is completely different than if you just sit down and play on Arena or Magic Online for a few hours versus when you're preparing to go to a bigger event. Of course, not so much now with COVID and everything, but when we are able to have physical events again, this is something that you can use to prepare for those physical events. And there's also some truth to it, like the majority of it, when you basically get ready for maybe an event over the weekend, whether it's a Magic Online championship series or one of the few arena like satellite events, whether it's the untapped events, the Star City Games, the weekend qualifiers that even just the Magic the Gathering company holds as well. So these are going to be some good ways to get into the right mindset and be ready to prepare and get ready for those events. Recognizing your strengths and weaknesses. This seems like it would be kind of an easy thing and maybe something that you kind of already know, but really assessing like strengths and weaknesses, kind of going back to like your technical play and like where your head's at and trying to improve on those weaknesses while also trying to strengthen those strengths even more and to become better at those. Also understanding like understanding your strengths and weaknesses make training and preparing a lot easier when you kind of know what you need to focus on a little bit more and whatever stretch of time that you actually have, and then what strengths that you can really rely on and basically kind of hold off on while you're training up those weaknesses to hopefully not be as detrimental to your success in tournaments or just as a player, just playing casual games of Magic. Develop critical thinking and situational awareness is the very last one, and I think this is super important because it kind of ties everything together. It's sort of easy, like when you pick up a deck that just kind of has like very intentional lines of play, and when you're presented with a problem that maybe necessarily a general overview of a deck won't necessarily tell you, this is just something that comes a lot with experience playing a deck, but then also being able to recognize situations like when you play other decks. If you're someone that wants to pick up and play a different strategy on a different week and you only have like a week or two to prepare with said deck, being able to develop the critical thinking skills and understanding certain situations and having a higher situational awareness can kind of supplement, the maybe months, possibly even years, depending on how good you get at honing those skills and really understanding lines of play and things like that. Can supplement a lot of preparation and just allow you to focus on playing and a little less on learning all the cards, studying the different lines and things like that. Like just being able to play like the raw games that you need to play to end up feeling comfortable while also not screwing yourself really in the long run and forcing yourself to put in an ungodly amount of time in something that you're really not going to master in a 2 or 3 week period for that matter. So those are the important things that I want to hit on with this series. Hopefully you guys enjoy the series as well, and it does help out. These are some of the things too that I have personally worked on and I've developed as a player, like when I started getting into competitive Magic, and things that have helped me out to, I would say, become a decently successful player. Like I'm obviously not, in Rivals League or MPL or anything like that, but definitely I think that I'm a very strong player, and if I could like stand to actually play online, I probably would play online in that. But regardless of that, these are things that I worked on and things that helped me to get a better player, and these are results that you can see from tournament to tournament, session to session, where you can tell that you are becoming a better player and can just improve on from those past experiences and take those experiences into either other formats or other decks to be playing in the same format that you enjoy playing. And if, above all, obviously having fun is a pretty big thing when you're playing competitively, because if you're not having fun, you play worse, and when you play worse, you obviously don't get the results you want. When you don't get the results you want, it kind of feeds into a vicious cycle. So hopefully being able to develop on like these 4 key points on top of your willingness to actually improve and wanting to play at higher stakes events, this should be a very good series for you, and you will see improvement guaranteed throughout this series and throughout the progression as a player. So hopefully you guys enjoy this series. If you do and you're excited for what's to come from this channel as far as Magic or Pokemon content, please be sure to leave a like on this video, share it with your friends, and obviously subscribe to the channel so you get updates and things like that for videos that come out in the future. Definitely going to be this series is definitely going to be a staple and something that I'm going to constantly work on and bring to the table every week to essentially help those players that going into 2021, where we could possibly see like these paper events again, maybe a little bit later into 2021, but regardless, hopefully we see them, and these will help you out a lot as a player. So yeah, again, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new and you want to see more videos like this, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.